Baby Carrots, carrots of wisdom for little ones. 10 short tales from Henry the Great Blue Heron, told in the garden where his critter friends play, laugh, and learn life's lessons along the way. Written by Sondra Perry, illustrated by Janice Beyer, edited by Jennifer Radovian.
I am Henry the Great Blue Heron. Here in the Perry's family's backyard, I am a bird, a very big bird. I am bigger than any hawk or eagle, but not as big as a dinosaur. I am 4 feet tall, and when I fly, my wings stretch 6 feet wide. It's true, really. My eyes are yellow. I have a white cap of fur on my head that sometimes sticks straight up. My feathers are mostly blue and gray. Some are brown and white. My beak is like a long, sharp spear, which is great for fishing. I also eat snails and gophers. I live nearby, but most of the time, you can find me in the Perry's backyard. I have been coming here almost every day for over 10 years now. You see, this is a really special backyard. I love to hang out in the garden. The sun seems to always shine, and the flowers are always in bloom. It is a happy place. There is plenty of food and water, and I feel very safe. Birds and critters from the neighborhood are always flying or crawling into the Perry's yard. The Perry family takes good care of us all. My friends are here too. There is the frog family, the lizard family, turtles, red robins, worms, turkeys, Mr. Duck, baby squirrel, blue jays, quails, and doves. Many little songbirds and the 3 hens, Mother Raven, and Brave Heart live here too. Whether they are eating, laughing, or playing, and fighting, sometimes, the critters are learning about themselves, those around them, and life along the way. And I get to see it all happening. Now, I want to share it with you. Some say I'm the wise old heron. If I am, I think sharing is a wise thing to do. So come into the Perry's backyard with me and see what you can learn too. Oh, by the way, the Perry family thinks of me as their pet. You can read The Most Unusual Pet Ever. Henry, our great blue heron, and his adventures to find out all about that.
I see you. The love that we have for other critters and the love they have for us is carried inside our hearts. That love is always with us. When critters do not understand this truth, it leaves them acting and feeling, well, let's just say not quite like themselves. Mornings are always busy for the frog family that lives in the pond in the Perry's garden. Frog Mom is getting ready to catch breakfast and feed her 8 babies. As usual, her littlest, Frog Baby, clings tightly to her leg, with her other frog babies hopping in different directions. She has to be patient and in charge. Frog Mom is a pro.
Gather around, little ones. Pay attention and watch me catch your breakfast. My mom taught me, and now it's time for you to learn. Soon you will be catching your own breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Frog Mom says as she looks toward the pond.
We have many choices today. Flies, insects, and little fish, but catching them takes patience and skill. Now I need all of you to go across the pond, wait quietly, and watch closely. You too, my littlest frog baby. I cannot catch anything with you in tow.
But I want to stay with you,
Frog Baby pleads, hanging on tighter.
I want you to watch me. Don't you love me?
Of course I do. I love you even when you're across the pond and I cannot touch you.
Frog Mom explains gently.
Now please go join your brothers and sisters while I catch breakfast.
Fine.
Frog Baby sniffles and releases his grip on Frog Mom's leg. He sulks across the pond to a spot all by himself.
I don't know where he gets the idea that I don't love him unless my eyes are always on him. I love all my little ones, but I only have 2 eyes and 8 babies.
Frog Mom says under her breath, taking her position behind a small rock. Soon she hears a fly approaching. Frog Mom whips her tongue out to catch the fly. Suddenly, She sees a turtle, hungrily licking his lips, moving toward Frog Baby. Frog Mom quickly abandons the fly, crosses a pond in one giant leap, and lands right in front of the startled turtle. He scurries away as fast as a turtle can go.
You saved me! You do love me! I thought you were too busy to think about me.
Frog Baby yells in delight.
That's what I've been trying to get you to understand,
Says Frog Mom.
I love you wherever I am, no matter what I'm doing, always and forever.
I love you too.
Frog Baby says with a ribbit and a big smile. He happily joins his sisters and brothers to watch and learn how to catch a meal. Frog Baby realized that day that constant attention does not equal love. The love his mother has for him is carried in his heart every minute of the day. Her love will always be with him. It is what it is. Who knew that a simple sign saying keep out could get a lizard so upset? Things do not always go the way we want them to, but critters can choose to be happy anyways.
Come on, family.
Shouts Papa Lizard joyfully.
It's a beautiful morning in the Perry's garden. The sun is bright, the sky is blue, the air is warm, and all the flowers are in bloom. Let's get to the pond.
The lizard family begins walking to their favorite spot across the garden. I can't wait to lie down on the warm rocks all day, Mother Lizard says dreamily.
I want to drink from the splashing waterfall and catch bugs,
Adds Papa Lizard.
I'm going to go swimming all day long.
Little Middle Lizard exclaims.
Let's play Marco Polo.
Brother and Sister Lizard chime in together. Finally, the lizard family arrives at the pond,
Here we are.
says Papa Lizard.
What's this? A sign. It says, keep out.
What?
Cries Little Middle Lizard.
This is horrible. What are we going to do all day? Why would they close the pond? No!
He screams,
There are plenty of other places to play and things to do.
says Papa Lizard.
Look, your brother has already found a suitable rock to practice his push-ups, and your sister is happily rolling around in that mud puddle.
How can they just be going around having fun? It's not fair.
Fumes Little Middle Lizard.
My whole day is ruined.
Papa Lizard simply shakes his head and begins hunting for bugs. Little Middle Lizard is intent on staying mad. He sulks under the keep out sign. More than an hour passes when Little Middle Lizard is startled by a sound from across the garden. Raven, one of the resident chickens, is stirring up the dirt.
What are you doing?
Little Middle Lizard yells across the garden.
Why are you flapping your wings like that?
I'm about to begin a race.
Raven yells back.
A race? With whom? I don't see any other critters.
With myself.
Declares Raven. Raven takes off running full speed around the outer edge of the garden. Her wings, legs, and feathers are flying.
You're too funny.
Little Middle Lizard says, laughing uncontrollably. In his amusement watching the Raven race toward the finish, Little Middle Lizard forgot all about the keep out sign.
Thank you, Raven.
He calls out,
Glad to help. I was tired of watching you pout.
says Raven, out of breath.
I know the pond is your favorite place, but we can't change that it's closed.
You're right. It is what it is. I won't let it ruin my day.
Replies Little Middle Lizard as he joins Raven for the next race. Little Middle Lizard thankfully realized that some things are not what they are, and life is what you make of it. He could not open up the pond, but he could change his attitude and still enjoy the beautiful day.
More and more and more. Even critters need to be reminded that there is enough of everything for all of us. Sometimes, the more we go after, the less we end up with. It's spring. The flowers and trees are blooming, the sun is shining, and the pond's waterfall is overflowing. There is plenty of birdseed in the feeders, and lots of slimy worms, too. It's a fun time of the year in the Perry's garden. The birds have so much to share as they catch up from being gone all winter.
Look at my cute little Robin. He is so excited.
Mother Robin says proudly.
It's his first time seeing so many yummy worms.
I can't believe it. Look at all the worms.
Little Robin exclaims, gobbling as fast as he can.
But I better catch worms first and eat later. If I eat them as they go, I won't get as many.
He figures and begins moving faster and faster.
What are you doing?
Asks Mother Robin.
I'm trying to gather as many worms as I can for myself.
Little Robin pants.
I'm piling them up here away from the others. They are for me to have later.
I see,
says Mother Robin as she watches her cute little one become a little too excited.
My pile is not getting bigger, no matter how many worms I add. They keep crawling away.
Little Robin cries out angrily.
Move!
He shouts, pushing one of his sisters out of the way to snatch the worm dangling from another bird's mouth.
More! More! More!
Little Robin chants loudly.
Hey, little Robin, there's plenty for all of us.
The other birds chirp. Little Robin ignores them and continues frantically gathering worms. Mother Robin has seen enough. She pulls Little Robin aside.
We have this wonderful garden with plenty of worms for everyone, but your greedy behavior shows no respect for the others and no appreciation for the garden,
scolds Mother Robin.
If you could be glad for your sisters and the others when they caught a worm, you'd be enjoying yourself now instead of feeling so frantic.
Little Robin bows his head.
I'm sorry, Mother. There are so many worms, I thought I needed to have all of them all. Is that what greed is?
Yes,
Mother Robin replies. Little Robin carries the few worms left in his pile over to his sisters for them to enjoy.
I feel better now.
He sighs. When we put our effort and energy into greedy behavior, the situation never goes well. It's always better to be happy for other critters and their good fortune and share ours with them.
Even a turkey can get up a tree. We can be our own worst enemy if we're telling ourselves negative things. We're not able to soar when our heads are filled with doubt. You can hear them before you see them.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
It's the turkeys. They're always a delight. Many of us critters have been curious for a while about young male turkey's behavior. Whenever the flock roams around the neighborhood, he's always up in front, running ahead of all the other turkeys and flapping his wings madly.
Come on, come on!
Shouts young male turkey to the flock following slowly behind.
You go ahead and run. Flap those wings as hard as you like.
The eldest turkey replies.
Why is in such a hurry anyway?
I'm not in a hurry. I'm just getting my legs and wings ready. I want to practice every chance I get.
Young male turkey says proudly.
What are you practicing for?
I want to fly up into the trees one day. I can picture it. What a great view I see.
He explains excitedly.
Turkeys can't fly. Every turkey knows this. You should stop dreaming,
says the eldest turkey sternly, shaking his head.
That's what the whole flock keeps telling me.
Young male turkey says softly.
Doesn't matter, I should still try.
He tells himself. He continues practicing anyway.
Come on, legs, run! Come on, wings, flap! Why does this happen every time I tell the flock that I want to fly?
Young male turkey ponders. He hangs his head low.
Maybe I shouldn't think of flying into the trees. Maybe my legs and wings won't ever get me there.
He gobbles sadly.
Turkeys can't fly. Turkeys can't fly.
He repeats to himself over and over. The afternoon passes as the turkeys stroll down the middle of the road. They are startled by a loud, fast car heading in their direction.
Car coming, get out of the way!
Screams the flock, gobbling frantically. There is no time to think. The turkeys scatter everywhere fast. After the car streaks by and it is safe, the flock regroups on the side of the road.
Why do cars have to go so fast? At my age, it's getting harder to move so quickly.
The eldest turkey grumbles out of breath.
Hey, where's young male turkey? He was up in front before the car nearly ran us over.
I'm up here!
Shouts young male turkey from the top of a nearby tree.
I knew I could do it! I knew it!
He says, bursting with joy. All the turkeys began to run through the neighborhood, gobbling in excitement, happy that young male turkey reached his dream. Because young male turkey had to react quickly, he had no time to think. When the negative thoughts filling his head suddenly disappeared, he was finally able to get out of his own way and fly. You see, even a turkey can make it up a tree if he stops telling himself that he can.
Give a hug, get a hug. It makes no difference whether you have feathers or fur. Every critter wants to be loved and understood. On this day, Mr. Duck and Baby Squirrel, a very unlikely pair, learn how alike they really are, and that just a simple hug can be magical.
What's Baby Squirrel doing next to my pond, pouting behind that bush?
Mr. Duck wanders. Baby Squirrel is usually jumping from tree to tree, laughing and chasing his brother, their furry tails flapping wildly. Curious, Mr. Duck waddles over to ask Baby Squirrel.
Okay, spill it.
Quacks Mr. Duck.
This isn't like you. Why aren't you running around making a bunch of noise? Where is your brother?
He's gone.
Baby Squirrel sniffles.
Gone? Gone where?
Asks Mr. Duck.
My brother moved to a neighborhood down the road. He's a family now. It's not too far away. He said he'll visit, but I miss him. I'm afraid he'll forget about me.
Baby Squirrel explains sadly. A surprising feeling wells up inside Mr. Duck.
Oh,
says Mr. Duck softly, waddling closer to Baby Squirrel.
the same thing happened to me when I was your age. My older brother moved to a different pond at the park when he got a family of his own. I missed my brother very much at first. I was also afraid that he would forget about me.
Really?
Asks Baby Squirrel. He wipes his tears and stands a little straighter.
Yes, but I've seen you and your brother together. He will miss you too. He will visit and be very happy to see you. You and your brother will still have as much fun as always, just like me and my brother did.
Says Mr. Duck.
You think so?
Don't worry. It's going to be okay. I promise.
Thank you, Mr. Duck. I never knew you were so kind.
Says Baby Squirrel.
Anytime.
Replies Mr. Duck as he stretches out his wing and wraps it around Baby Squirrel.
A hug.
Baby Squirrel sighs and nestles his head inside Mr. Duck's wing.
This is nice. I feel better.
I do too.
Says Mr. Duck happily. Mr. Duck and Baby Squirrel felt the magic of a simple hug. That is, when you give a hug, you also get one back. A light touch, a kind word, a simple smile. These are simple things that matter. One critter might have feathers and the other fur, but both want to be loved and comforted.
Howdy, Blue Jays. There are many different critters that hang out in the Perry's garden, and they all have their own behaviors. Sometimes critters can act so differently that it's tempting to judge them quickly based on a single behavior. But it's always better to be patient and get to know someone. On this foggy fall morning, lots of different birds are sharing the Perry's garden. Sparrows, finches, robins, doves, quails, chickens, and blue jays. The finches gather at the bird feeder.
Good morning, sparrows.
The finches chirp cheerfully.
Did you have a good night?
No, the strong wind was blowing through our nest all night long, and it was cold.
Oh, you sparrows always have something to complain about.
The finches joke.
But we know that's just your way.
Meanwhile, the quail family begins hopping over the fence, one by one, making their way down to the bird feeder, and the dove family swoops down from the roof to join them.
Good morning, quails and doves.
Chirp the sparrows and finches.
Do you want your breakfast in the ground today?
Or do you want to turn at the feeder?
Very funny. You know we like to eat our seed on the ground. Will you please push some out of the bird feeder for us?
Here it comes.
Then the robins arrive in the garden and wait patiently for their turn at the feeder.
Go ahead, robins. Your turn.
Chirp the sparrows and finches as they fly off the feeder. One of the robins looks at the quail eating on the ground below.
I know quails can fly, but I see you fast walking everywhere. Why?
Asks the robin, teasing.
Because we like to.
The quails respond.
I know.
Says the robin with a smile.
The blue jays will be showing up soon.
Warns one of the chickens from under the feeder.
Better eat up. The blue jays don't know how to wait their turn. I think you mean the bratty blue jays,
says another chicken.
They can clear the garden out with one loud squawk. None of it sounds like they do. I don't like it.
All the birds in the garden nod in agreement.
Here they come! Get out the feeder now!
The chickens cluck loudly. Two squawking blue jays swoop into the garden and land on the empty feeder.
I don't know why all the birds leave when we arrive,
says one of the blue jays.
Well, at least we don't have to wait in line,
says the other blue jay, turning its head to laugh.
Hey, do you see that red-tailed hawk perched high in that tree?
I do now. He's looking for his breakfast, and I don't think he wants birdseed.
Replies the blue jay.
Oh no, he's got his sights on the little birds in the garden.
As both blue jays realize what is about to happen, they loudly begin alerting the other birds.
Hide.
The birds scatter throughout the garden to hide under the danger passes. Every bird was safe thanks to the blue jays and their loud squawking.
I guess we should have gone know these blue jays better,
says one of the chickens.
Actually, they're pretty cool. They saved us.
All the birds in the garden nod their head in agreement. The birds learned that the blue jays' loud squawking actually protects them. They learned that it isn't good to make judgment based off of one's behavior. When we make judgments, we miss out on the good stuff that every critter has to offer. Wings that won't fly. Some critters have 4 legs, others have 2. Some critters can see in the dark, others can smell a critter coming from miles away. All critters have their own special talents and traits. Being different is a good thing. All 3 of the resident chickens are hungry. They are eager to get breakfast from their coop into the garden to see what has been left for their breakfast. Are you ready? Are you ready? Clucks Raven as she prepares herself. The coop gates will be opening soon. I'm going to be the first one to get the garden today.
Yes, Raven, we're ready,
clucks Braveheart, the youngest of the 3 chickens, rolling her eyes. Mother, are you ready? I can hear footsteps. Raven, would you stop asking? Clucks Mother, the eldest chicken. We go through this every morning. Every morning we race, and every morning you win. We know your wings are the strongest. Stop pestering us. Here comes Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry opens the coop, and the 3 chickens run out. Raven gets to the garden first. I win, she declares. Oh, look, we have watermelon for breakfast. My favorite.
Yes, you win again,
clucks Mother and Braveheart. They arrive behind Raven and begin enjoying the delicious watermelon. It's early, but the garden is already full with birds looking for their breakfast.
Hello,
chickens, the red robins chirp.
Hello,
little birds, the chickens cluck. Last night it was so windy, complains one of the robins.
We had to change resting places 4 times before we found a warm spot.
I didn't feel the wind, says Raven. You're lucky because you have fluffy wings. Of course you didn't feel it, says one of the robins. After a few minutes, the red robins gather to leave.
It's time for us to go and see what the other bird feeders in the neighborhood have today. No one brings us watermelon. See you again tomorrow.
The red robins chirp and fly out of the garden together. Bye, says Raven. I wish I could go along, she thinks to herself, watching them all leave. Then the doves arrive and land next to the chickens. Good morning, they coo.
Good morning,
reply the chickens, who are now scratching at the dirt looking for bugs and worms to eat.
Did you hear that owl last night?
No, it's hard to hear the chickens from inside the chicken coop, Raven says.
Lucky for you. We were so afraid that the owl would eat us for dinner.
The doves spend a short time eating and then prepare to leave.
We hate to eat and run, but it's time for us to go,
says one of the doves. Where are you going? Raven asks anxiously.
We are looking for a safer nesting spot, away from the owl. We do not have a coop.
Okay. Goodbye then, Raven says sadly. She watches the doves fly away out of the garden together. Not fair, Raven clucks loudly. Why can't I come and go like the other birds can? It's my wings. They aren't the flying kind. I want to be like the flying birds. I want to be free. Raven spreads one of her wings and looks at it with displeasure. Think about what you're saying, Mother clucks at Raven. If you were a wild bird, you could go out and fly out here. You would have to find a spot to sleep every night, with danger lurking all around. There wouldn't be a coop to run to. Wild flying birds don't have coops. And would you want to hunt for your own food every day, never knowing what you might find or not find? That would mean no more watermelon. I didn't think about that, Raven says. I'm not that kind of bird. I don't think I could survive. That's right, Raven, and it's those wings you're frowning at that keep you so warm at night. Your strong wings are what wins you the race every morning, Mother says in a gentle tone. Thank you for reassuring me, Mother, Raven clucks as she stands up tall and kisses each one of her wings. Then Raven takes off running, flapping her wings wildly as she attempts to squawk. Cock-a-doodle-doo. That's our Raven, Mother and Braveheart cluck together.
She's not a rooster, but she acts like one. We know she's happy.
Raven embraced herself for who she is. She accepted her wings and realized the safety and goodness they provide. Critters should not compare themselves to other critters. We all have different talent and traits. Thank goodness that we do.
Me too. No matter if you are a lizard, a bird, or a squirrel, all the ones experience times of awkwardness. They think they are the only ones to feel that way, and that no one else could possibly understand. I have been visiting the Perry's garden for over 10 years now. I have seen lots of babies born, and had pleasure watching them grow up and go on and make their own families and live on their own. Every year, I invite all the little ones to the garden so I can share my story about the time when I was a little one and felt awkward and alone. This year, I invited Baby Squirrel, Little Frog, and the Lizard's kids, some of the baby chickens, and a few new songbirds. I cleared an area in the middle of the garden and asked for the critters to sit in a circle facing outwards, so they could feel more at ease and raise their hand when answering questions. Their parents would be coming to pick them up in an hour to get them. Standing in the middle of the circle, I began to tell my story.
When I was a great blue heron, I felt that everyone looked at me a little bit funny. I was very tall at an early age, and I didn't feel as smart as other herons. And I wasn't sure how to make friends. I felt that no one really liked me.
After a while, I asked everyone circled to close their eyes.
Raise your hand if you ever feel the same way I did. Now keep your hand up, open your eyes, and look around.
As the little ones looked around the circle, their eyes and mouths open wide. Every little critter hand is raised. With amazement, the little ones realize they are not alone with their feelings. This is my favorite part, watching and listening. The little ones eagerly open up and share.
We feel awkward because our feathers haven't grown in yet. Our necks are too tall for our bodies.
The baby chicks squeal.
I feel tearing around other squirrels because I'm still nervous about climbing so far to my tree in my house.
Baby squirrel says.
We have feelings too,
shout the baby lizard, jumping up and down.
Our skin sheds, and sometimes other people look at us funny. Everyone bigger than us,
cried the little frog and the songbirds. All the little ones are talking at the same time. It's a wonderful sound. When the talking calms down, I continue.
As I grew up, little by little, the awkwardness began to melt away, man. My feelings started to change. And when you're young, every moment is an opportunity for growing, learning, understanding, experiencing new things. We all eventually grow into bodies and make friends. It just takes time. And remember, everyone goes through it.
All the little ones are relieved as they have been told a special secret. Sharing our feelings can be nothing short of a miracle. Connecting with others helps us understand ourselves. When we keep our thoughts and feelings to ourselves, we feel lonely. When we share, we learn how alike we are. Every feeling, good or bad, has been felt by many other critters before us. So don't be too hard on yourself. The end.
Painting a picture with choices. Sometimes the best way to learn how to behave is to observe how not to behave. Recently, some of my dearest critter friends and I got a first-hand look at children acting poorly. If they could have seen themselves as we did, surely they would have chosen to behave better. It was late in the afternoon. I had been taking a nap next to the pond. My dear friends, after a full day of play, were resting with me. The Dove girls, Elise, Daphne, and Emma, the Red Robin boys, Bryce and Ryan, the Squirrel sisters, Anna, Paula, and Julia, and Dylan, the Red Cardinal.
Thanks for inviting us over, Henry.
Elise, Daphne, and Emma, the doves, cooed softly, waking up from their nap.
What a great picnic we had!
Anna, Paula, and Julia, the squirrel sisters, added as they got up and stretched. We should do this again soon.
We can play so many more games when we're all together.
Cheered Bryce and Ryan, the Red Robins, and Dylan, the Red Cardinal. Suddenly we were startled by horrible sounds of fussing and ranting. We scurried to the fence where the noise was coming from, and wrangled for a good spot to peek at what was causing all the commotion. It was a family, a human family, with two friends, children, a young boy and girl. The parents were trying to get them in the car, but the children resisted.
Do we have to go with you? We don't want to!
They screamed. Their faces turned mean as they twisted their bodies to prevent their parents from putting them in the car.
Let us stay here! We were old enough to stay home!
They begged and pleaded loudly.
You're the meanest parents ever!
My critter friends and I were astonished by the dreadful behavior.
Just by the way those kids are acting,
you can see they're not
mature
enough to be
enough
left alone.
Whispered the doves, Elise, Daphne, and Emma. No kidding. I would never act that way to my parents. Or to anyone. Dylan, the Red Cardinal, added.
Do those kids think they're going to get away with that kind of behavior?
Anna, Paula, and Julia, the Squirrel sisters, wondered out loud.
Screaming out loud and saying mean words won't get your parents to listen to you.
Bryce, one of the Red Robins, declared.
Neither will hitting and kicking,
added Ryan, the other Red Robin.
Even though the kids are young, they are still old enough to make choices on how to behave.
The first dove, Elise, proclaimed.
They could talk nicely to their parents and explain what they want in a calm voice.
Said Daphne, the second dove.
Then their parents might listen.
In those faces, it's hard to show your maturity when your face is red and tight with anger.
Emma, the third dove, added without taking her eyes off the commotion. The critters all looked at each other and shook their heads. Then the Squirrel sisters, Anna, Paula, and Julia, said aloud what we were all thinking.
We never want to be seen acting like that.
We slowly walked back to the pond as the car drove away with the children, still screaming in the back seat. Actions really do speak louder than words. Every day we can choose how we behave. What is the look on your face? Where are your hands? What is the tone of your voice? How are you standing? These choices of behavior paint a picture for all of us to see.